Hi, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about my progression route from TA to HLTA. I started working in schools as a teaching assistant supporting individual students, and usually this was with whole classes or with small groups and on a one-to-one basis. After 3 years employed in a large secondary school, I applied for a similar position in another large school. Within 3 months, I was responding to a vacancy advertising for a higher level teaching assistant in the same school. I was looking for a challenge and had witnessed lessons where cover by some supply teachers had amounted to telling students what the task was, then simply sitting at the front of the class to read a book. There are, of course, many excellent supply teachers out there working in our schools, but I had observed some sending text messages. On one occasion, I was in a maths class and I was asked to explain to a student how to do percentages because apparently the supply teacher didn't know how to do them. I felt the students deserved a better deal and certainly more input and support from a teacher covering their lesson. These, together with similar experiences, led me to believe that perhaps I could provide a higher standard of cover and more consistency than some supply teachers. I wanted to become more involved with whole classes too. Progression to HLTA status involved proving that I had met the standards and the assessment criteria as required by the Department of Education. I had to attend 3 days at a local university, and I enjoyed that because it gave me an opportunity to meet up with other teaching assistants who had chosen a similar pathway. In my case, the status was achieved swiftly and with relative ease, due to my range and level of experience of working in schools. Many of the boxes could be ticked straight away because they were tasks that I had already carried out as part of my role, and other tasks were already being performed on a daily basis through natural progression within the role. There was a lot of cross-referencing of gathered documentary evidence to support the set tasks and the descriptions of lesson experiences. I also had to find out more about student assessment procedures and their expected levels of achievement. I developed a greater understanding of school policy and procedures through the HLTA status process. An appointment was arranged for an assessor to visit me in school towards the end of my HLTA course. Her job was to check that I had met all the relevant assessment criteria. I was asked to clarify a couple of areas that required further explanation. In my HLTA role, I regularly cover lessons due to teacher absence, with class sizes of between 25 to 28 students. These are in subjects across the curriculum, Key Stages 3 and 4, including drama, dance, design technology, and on occasions PE. I've even led a 5-a-side football tournament, which is no mean feat for me. I'm not particularly sporty, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. One of the major differences for me between a teaching assistant and a higher level teaching assistant is that generally, as an HLTA, I knew what students I would have to cover and what classes I would be covering that day. I had a timetable. As an HLTA, I don't have any idea what lessons I'm going to be covering. Some staff may call in absent within an hour of briefing. I don't find out until briefing that day. Other lesson covers may be planned well in advance, but this means that sometimes I don't know what I'll be delivering until I walk into the classroom, which leads to some very interesting lesson starts, as you can imagine. And this is why being adaptable and flexible is an essential attribute for an HLTA, together with an endless supply of patience. It isn't unusual to be covering 5 lessons in a school day, and to also have a tutor group to cover as well. Sometimes I'm asked to carry out admin duties such as report checking, and I'm also required to carry out exam invigilation. I might help in individual departments as well when the need arises. Due to all the uncertainties involved in my daily role, it was impossible to arrange the recording of one of my cover lessons for Teachers TV as originally planned. But not having any 2 days alike suits me, and making it really does make it an altogether more interesting and challenging role than I was in before. I know that supporting individual students wouldn't be enough for me now. Having recently completed a degree course, It's a 3-year degree course. I now plan to further my career by using it along with my classroom experience to gain a place on the graduate teaching programme. I hope this has given you a little bit more insight into the possible progression routes from TA to HLTA.